What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of In This Very Ring, live from, well, different places. Normally we're at Cards and Comics, but obviously with everything going on, we're clearly not at Cards and Comics, and we're doing a little bit of an early show this week. We got Butters, I'm Ritz. Chrome's going to be jumping in here in about 15 minutes to join us. Real quick, In This Very Ring is brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Check them out on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. You can also find them in Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton. I know they're doing a lot of different online things, reaching out for you guys. And then also Ambuck Services. You tell them A2D sent you, and they're going to give you 20% off all your gutter and deck restorations. So Butters. First and foremost, before we jump into the poll question, my man, how are you doing?
I am doing good. A little bored, but we are good.
Yep. I mean, you're still working, right?
Yeah, I'm still working big time.
Okay.
Hope don't stop for anybody or
That's
anything.
no kidding. All right, man. So poll question: Night 1 of WrestleMania was better than Night 2. Do you
Oh,
agree? Disagree?
I'm gonna agree big time. I feel like they had the bigger matches, the better matches. I mean, Boneyard took it away. KO with his big spot. You know, Morrison and Uso. I mean, they just had better matches all around. Yes, Night 2 had some great matches, but nothing to blow away really Night 1.
Okay. See, and I have to agree, but at the same time, I this is a weird poll question, even though I wrote it, right?
Yeah,
It's a really weird poll question because you have to almost look at them as two different entities because they provided so much.
almost like
Huh?
two pay-per-views.
Exactly. It's almost like you have one over here and one over here, and they're very, very different because there's very different feels throughout. Like with night 1, we knew we were getting the Boneyard match that night, right? They had already announced it. So there was that anticipation, there was that excitement. We also knew that what else was on night 1? We knew Becky Shayna was going to happen on night 1. We knew that the tag team match was going to happen on night 1. There were a lot of big matches on night 1 that we were looking forward to. But we also knew that over on night 2, we were getting the Otis Dolph Ziggler match, which was probably, if you take the titles out of it and you take stipulations like the last man standing
Yeah,
or anything like that, that was probably the most highly anticipated match on the card, because
Every,
it
everybody wanting to see Otis get his, get his due. Want to see him get his girl.
exactly it's one of the best storylines going right now because there's so many different ways that you can take it, so many different things that you can do with it. Um, so I'm gonna fall in the middle on this one. I'm not even gonna agree, nor am I
There's
gonna
no
disagree.
straddling the fence here, sir.
Yes, there is. Um, because and the
How did that
bi-
fence not break? No, I'm just kidding.
it's reinforced steel. Reinforced steel. Wayne Tech provided it,
Hey, it's Wayne Tech. I mean, no failure in that.
right? Um, we talked about last Sunday. We did a night 1 recap, right? So to prove why night 2 could be better than night 1, it's only fair to dive deep into night 2 and really break it down, right? Because of how different it is. And I know we did something very similar on lazy booking, but our topic of conversation is the fact that night 1 was better than night 2. Yes or no? Agree or disagree, right? And again, I kind of fall in that middle realm because you had so many different things. And you start off immediately with Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley in one of the more high profile matches. And a lot of people said that this shouldn't have opened night 1. This should have been more towards the end, right? And later on in the night. But I disagree there. I think that it was the perfect spot to cement night 2 as a different program.
As I say, you needed to open up the night with a big match. I mean, you started the pre-show with, you had one pre-show match, but you really needed to open up the night with a decent high-profile match.
And I mean, Liv Morgan and Natalia put on a good match.
That they did.
But, I mean, go ahead.
You still, like I said, you still got to open up with a decent profile match to kind of let everybody else kind of follow the edge and just kind of, because you can't just go, let's open up with a dull match because everybody's going to be bored with the damn show to begin with. Explode it, open it up, explode the, you opened it up, night one with what?
The Kabuki Warriors.
Okay, so, wow, they opened up both nights with a women's match. Okay.
And that was another argument, right? Was, should you have opened up both nights with the women? Absolutely, you should have.
The women are showing nowadays they're doing a whole lot better than the men.
Absolutely. And the women have proven time and time, damn dogs. The women have proven time and time and again that there is no reason why they can't start a show, nor can they end a show.
Correct.
Right. I think it was Chrome said it the other night where the second most important spot on a card is opening up the show. If you're not closing out the show, you want to open that show.
Yep.
Right. So why not do it in what's it called? Why not do it in this fashion with, because it's the only women's match on the card other than the elimination match, which was in the right spot. It wasn't a great match. It ended really weird. So starting off with Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley was perfect.
Yep.
Right. And when you compare match one to match one on each night, because each night, this is where WWE is really smart. Each night had 9 matches on it. So we could almost go line by line and compare which match was better.
Yeah.
So Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and the Kabuki Warriors. And hell, we'll start a damn tally of it. Screw it. Night 1, night 2. On match 1, right? Which one did you like better?
Better to see match 1. Man, God, I'd have to say Alexa, Nikki Cross, the Kabuki Warriors.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I felt like the tag team gave me a little more action than Charlotte Ripley because Charlotte Ripley just seemed to go one way, and that was beat the knee, submit. Let's do
Well, it plays off of, and we're gonna get to Greg's comment in a moment. It plays off of really, really well the fact that they had Rhea wrapped up in the figure 4 up against the post from the previous Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So that's why that story took place throughout. So before we finish this argument, Greg Milakovic chiming in. What's up, fellas? I agree to the poll because Gronk won the 24/7 I-95 South 7-Eleven title. Let's go. Although I enjoyed the Boneyard match more than the Firefly Funhouse. I have to agree there as well. Yep. And the Gronk Mania shirts were delivered today. Yes. I'll tell you something off stream, but yes, that's amazing. I'll explain to you why that's a fantastic idea. But yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Gronk winning the 24/7 title in just a little bit, because you even had that. You had a 24/7 title change hands on both nights.
Oh yeah, I didn't even.
Right, it was almost like copy and paste one night to the other. Because if I look at it, and now this is kind of like a revelation thing. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 title matches on night 1.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4 title matches on night 2. Right? Because I'm not counting Drew McIntyre versus The Big Show as a match from screw that. That was stupid. We're not even going to talk about that at all.
On Raw.
But it was post WrestleMania. It aired on Raw, but it was post WrestleMania.
That makes no sense.
I know. No, trust me, I know.
Oh, dear Lord.
So all right. So match one, I got to give it to night two. I think they started off. They came out the gate because it was also shocking, right? We
Yeah.
had a good feeling going into it that Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross were gonna win the tag titles. It made more sense to put it on them because Alexa Bliss is the right person to build up that tag team division.
Yeah.
Whereas Charlotte winning the NXT title, nobody. I mean, some people we had speculated if it happened, right? And I don't think coming out the gate anybody's really upset about it, but nobody really saw it coming.
You kept preaching.
What does this mean? Use words.
You kept preaching it week after week. Charlotte's winning. Charlotte's winning. I mean,
Right, but as it got closer, you could, and the argument was like, and I was swayed, right? We had the arguments on lazy booking of why it made sense for Rhea to win the title. Do you know what I mean? So but I have to give it to Rhea Ripley and Charlotte because I think they put on a better match than the Kabuki Warriors and Blissful Cross. I don't know what we're calling them. I have no idea. So in my book, I'm putting night two with one. Let's go to match number two. Okay. Match number two on night one was Elias defeating King Corbin. Mm-hmm. Night two had Aleister Black over Bobby Lashley. I swear to God, if you say that King Corbin and Elias had the better match than Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley, we might just end the show right now.
You know, you tempted me to say it, but I was actually going to go with Black versus Lashley.
I do, and tell me why, because I think we might be on the same page here, other than the fact it's King Corbin.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Elias. You know, he had a good match with Corbin, but I mean, anything with Aleister Black is just freaking golden right now. And then the fact that, you know, I think this match here with Black and Lashley sets up for that Lashley-Lana split that we're all, thank God, hoping comes soon.
Yeah, see, and that's where I was going to go with it. This match actually has a lasting effect. Like, something came out of it. It may not benefit Aleister, even though he won, but Correct. He got his first singles win at WrestleMania. So that benefits him. But it also kept the Bobby Lashley relevant because now we may split from Lana. What's going to happen to Lana? You know, what's Bobby going to do? Those were the questions we had coming out of that night, especially with the post-match promo. So again, I got to give it to night two. Match number 3.
Do we even got to say it?
We do, because here's why. Match number 3 saw Otis defeating Dolph Ziggler on night 2. But on night 1, this was where Becky went over Shayna.
Do we still got to say it, really?
I think you almost have to, though. Right? Because, yes, you and I are both going to say Otis because we're both fluffy men, and Otis got Mandy, right?
Correct.
And that's a bigger storyline, in my opinion, than the confusion of Becky beating Shayna.
Yep. Because I don't understand. As much as I loved Becky, I chose Becky for the win, but it still boggles the mind as to why you're going to put Shayna in this match, put her over as much as they've done, and have her lose to Becky.
Yeah, I mean, the Becky loss didn't make sense whatsoever, and Otis put on such a hell of a match.
He did.
Because Dolph Ziggler, like Dolph Ziggler, don't like Dolph Ziggler, he's a great worker, and you especially saw that with. Let's be very honest here. He's a former WWE, a former world champion.
Yep.
Right? Former tag champion.
Yep.
I think he's held the Intercontinental once or twice.
Correct.
Right? He's a very decorated superstar. And for him to say, you know what, I'm going to go into this kind of, I don't want to say cheesy because that's not the right word, but this is not something you would see a person of his caliber normally be doing. It'd normally be in a more serious kind of storyline. And he's putting over Otis and Tucker even. I know he got the win Friday night on Tucker, but he's still putting them both over. He's still making them look so much better. Because
Well,
Tucker looked
that's what he does. That's what he does best. Is he's good at putting somebody over. Dolph
absolutely
doesn't really put on a bad match. If it's a bad match with Dolph Ziggler, it's because his opponent sucks so bad.
100%, 100%. I have Pete chiming in, and I guess this is my watch party because I don't see it over here on the normal comments. He goes, "Yo, fam, agree to the poll, not just because of the Boneyard match, but also the triple threat ladder match." And we're going to get to that in a moment too, but Pete's dead on. That triple threat ladder match was beyond fantastic. But I got to give match 3 to night 2 solely because, man.
Yeah. Why not? It's Mandy Rose, boys and girls.
And it's Otis getting his just desserts.
Yep.
But see, now we have Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan and Edge versus Orton. This is where it can get a little rocky here. I want to see what your thoughts are.
I would go with Edge Orton because that was a hell of a beating and a hell of a match. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan was really good, but it started off for me way too slow. It picked up in the end, whereas Edge versus Orton was just straight beat down the whole match.
But see, I think it went too long. I think the Sami Zayn Daniel Bryan match, yeah, it had its weird bit in the middle. Well, in the beginning, but it was the right amount of time. The Edge and Orton match had such a hype to it, such a excitement about it, and I don't think they delivered. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to disagree with me, but I don't think they delivered where it needed to be. I think let's be honest, the announcers died. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know whose direction it was for them to shut up or have
Correct.
no reaction to anything, but they were silent.
I don't think that they even were honestly in. I'm pretty sure, yes, they were in the Performance Center, but I don't think they were anywhere near where the announce table, could even voice their opinion.
What that mean?
I'm pretty sure this whole segment was taped, and they had no tape over whatsoever. For the voiceover, they could have really done tape the segment, put in the announcer's voiceover, and be done with. But
it's what they should have done. It's what they should have done. You and I both know it, right?
WWE we're talking about. I mean,
but they do it. They do it for other bullshit shows.
I mean, not to mention how heavily edited was this match.
I'm sure it was incredibly edited.
I'm pretty sure this match probably went on longer than what they showed.
I'm sure it was incredibly edited, but it doesn't matter, right? I also think this was in the right spot, but it still went way too long.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the card.
It's the second longest match behind Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, in the Iron Man match.
Oh.
Let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah, because I got the times right here. Yeah, dear Lord.
Yeah. Second longest match at, 36 and some change?
36-35.
Yeah, 36-35. So...
The match at WrestleMania 36 going 36 minutes.
All right, I quit. I'm not doing this with you anymore. I'm kidding.
Don't make me go there.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
Absolutely nothing. Tom Arnone chiming in, my guys. We got...
I read that so wrong.
What did you read? Are you talking about Chrome's comment?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wrong. Why would you read like that?
Because yeah, I took a quick glance at it, okay? Hush.
Oi. Oi. Ah! It's still one of the best graphics that this company has. I swear to God. It is absolutely one of the best.
It is better than yours for once.
Yeah, mine's pretty good, but that's better. But here's the best part about those graphics, not to go on a rant. We have a good graphic for when something good happens, even though it's terrifying. And we have a, wow, you said something really stupid graphic for when you say something really stupid. There you go. It's even a damn banner. It goes all over the place. But that's when you say something
I mean, that
stupid.
face says it all. That face says it
I
all.
feel like it gets used during the fix a lot, though. There's a personality on there that just says a lot of dumb stuff. And I think we all know who that is. He's not the one producing the show, I promise. That was a subtle jab, if I've ever heard one.
Now, don't get us kicked off the air now.
Do what?
I said, don't get us kicked off the air now.
Oh, that's why I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about somebody else. But no, I think that you almost have to give you have to give line 5 to what's it called? Tonight. I mean,
as Fix say, it's a toughie.
It really is. It's a tough one.
I mean, you could almost say it's a tie.
Yeah, because they do different things. So we're gonna put one in each column. What is that noise?
That would be a can of whatever opening.
Oh, look, it's the resident A2D merch model.
You know it, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce you, the one, the only, Heel Chrome, here to pop on in for a little bit. Chrome, what's going on?
What's up, fellas?
Not much, man. So, kind of fill you in. The poll question is night 1 better than night 2?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going match by match, comparing match 1 to match 1, see who's essentially had the better product.
I gotcha.
Right. So first things first, let me get your thoughts. Which night did you like better?
I think overall night 1, in terms of the fluidity of things, the match quality was a little bit better. I mean, overall, I thought the show was good, and like you said, we're going to go through the card. But I felt like they planned out night 1 much better. I felt like, as opposed to night 2, the closeout for the show was much better night 1, ending on a high note with the Boneyard match. I really didn't see many low points, and I think we talked about this last week on your show when we did the night 1 recap.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if there's a complaint for night 1 that I got a quality match out of 2 guys I really just didn't care about seeing, and that's really the only low light for me, it's a win. So I agree. I felt like night 1 was much better and flowed much better. It didn't feel long. It felt like it went quick. It was a quick 3 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, both nights were a very quick 3 hours.
Well,
all right, well, take that back. Edge and Orton.
Night 2 had its drags.
Yeah, Edge and Orton went too long.
Yeah, night 1 was much better constructed.
Yeah. No, and you hit every point on the head, absolutely. So we're jumping into match 5. So here we go. Is this over on Twitch? This is Ted. He says that Bailey finish was super lame. Lacey, who's actually over people care about, is about to win, and Sasha does her finisher. Bailey wins. That's a Raw or Smackdown finish. Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. I didn't like the finish, and I think we talked about this on your show, Chrome, where I thought the finish was dumb, and it made Lacey look like one of the bigger losers.
Yeah.
I
feel like Lacey should have took it. I feel like Bailey should have turned on Charlotte after what happened to Sasha. Bailey could have saved her. You could have turned through all that in there, have Lacey win it, and put them 2 to the side. And let them do their thing.
Yeah, it's another big match for Lacey to lose. Another title match that Lacey's now lost. Whether it's a schmaz, whether there's interference or not, we talked about it before. It's like the Bray Wyatt effect. How much are you going to kill a character, especially with the build that they gave her with the military stuff with her daughter before? It reminds me in terms of the booking with Miz when Miz first turned face, right? It actually worked.
Yeah.
And you repeatedly put him in these programs with Shane McMahon, and he never got over, and it killed his character. I worry about that with her because Sasha and Bailey doesn't need a title. If you do this the right way, it doesn't need a title. And then on top of it, the way that it looks like they're booking it, you would have to think that Sasha's going to be the one who's a face because they're positioning her to be the face. And that to me is a wrong decision because you have an opportunity now to do another face run with Bayley with a whole different character. And Sasha's not a good, she doesn't work as a face. The only time she works as a face is against Charlotte. But overall, it doesn't work. I think there's a lot of misses on this one.
Especially coming off the heels of last night, I have to agree with you, Chrome. They're positioning, they're cementing Bayley as the heel in this, and they're cementing Sasha as more of the face, like you're the one trying to screw me, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I feel like eventually the fans are just going to turn that around. I mean, they've done it before. I feel like y'all said, I feel like Sasha should be the heel, Bayley the face, and the fans are eventually going to get to the point where they're just going to force the turn.
See, I don't think they're going to, though, because, and I said this the other night as well, I think you're going to see the fans side with Sasha because they're not vibing with Bayley right now. They're not digging anything about Bayley's character. Bayley's gone stale with them. It's so funny that it came across my YouTube earlier when Bayley won her first Raw title. How did she win the title? Sasha. Sasha and Bayley's careers have had so many parallels, and one's been because of the other, but mostly on the main roster, Bayley's gotten her titles because of Sasha in one way, shape, or another.
Well, I think it's interesting because if you even pull AEW into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The complaint with AEW is that the match quality is not good. They have a number of somewhat compelling female stars, and there's fresh stars. I mean, Britt Baker right now as a heel is fantastic, but on the flip side with WWE and what makes their women's division stand out is the fact that their women are working on this almost an even scale with certain people like Charlotte and Rhea. They're working on the same scale as men.
Yeah.
But they're not building new stars, and that's the problem. Yeah, they have Rhea, and we talked about the Rhea thing, the visa expiring. That's probably more than likely. It sounds like that's the reason why she won, Charlotte. But they have an opportunity here. They're totally whiffing on some of these women. Lacey is a big one. To me, Lacey has money all over her, and you could put so much behind her. Like, this is the same fucking company that gave Lex Luger his own bus with a red, white, and blue fucking flag down the side. All right, the Lex Express. So, they've done it before.
Who said they wanted a Lex Express?
I mean, for Christ's sake, they went for a cup of coffee through the Bobby Lashley thing with his military background until they realized that was poorly done. With Lacey, it's been effective. Why are we not working with this? Why are we not pushing this girl? The other ones don't need to be in the title picture all the time anymore, except for Charlotte. Charlotte should always, whether she's chasing, Charlotte and Becky should always be in the title picture, but the other two don't need it.
Because they feel the 4 horsewomen are the bigger women of the women's division?
And that's a Vince thing.
Yeah, that's 100% a Vince thing.
You guys, tell me if you agree with me because I've been thinking about this a lot, right? So, we've heard the rumors of how much NXT does Vince really watch, right? Mm-hmm. Is there a lot of NXT that Vince pays attention to? Now, he's heard, because it's impossible to ignore the clamors of the 4 horsewomen thing, right? And see the dollar signs behind, the Ronda and Shayna and having horsewomen versus horsewomen. Well, now we're 3 or 4 years in. We haven't gotten that. And people are now souring on this now being forced down your throat. This isn't like a Roman John Cena forced down your throat. These are, you have 2 women. They're forcing these other 2 women down our throats who I feel like could benefit more by working just regular programs. But I feel like Vince hasn't watched enough NXT or enough of the women's, the Mae Young Classic to realize there's a ton of talent on this roster with characters to develop that people will get behind. For Christ's sake, give Lacey a chance. # give Lacey a chance. I'm doing it. We're making it trending. Let's go.
Let's do it. No, I've been a huge Lacey fan. I mean, ever since her time in NXT, and I've said it on air, I've said it off air. I wish they would play more to her military side. Don't get me wrong. I love the whole sassy Southern Belle thing they have going on, but I really want them to play up that military background that she has because she is a legit badass. And I mean, that woman's right is no joke. as just a
Sure.
regardless, right? She's a Marine. She's very. I don't want to say she's very decorated, but I'm thinking she's pretty decorated,
She's pretty decorated.
right? Play into that, play that up a little bit, because the best characters are whoever you are turned up to 11, right? Just like Ginger, Pete said it earlier. Ginger Bill Alfonso down here. This is him turned up to 11.
Yep.
You
This
know,
is bullshit.
so you think it's bullshit?
No,
But
I think that it's bullshit what they're doing right now
Oh.
with these women.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought you meant Pete's comment was bullshit. I mean,
I know. I don't disagree.
even with the headphones, you look like you got a whistle.
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
But no, I mean, I think it's a really missed opportunity. I mean, we've been talking about it all the time, and Ricky, chimes in. As amazing as Charlotte is, I'm honestly tired of seeing her with a championship. Any of the 4 horsewomen, to be honest. I love to see new champs all around. I agree, but I also disagree. I agree with the fact that I would really like to see a new champion, but to Chrome's point that he made earlier, you need to keep Charlotte and Becky in those title hunts, because one, if somebody like Lacey beats a Charlotte in a championship match, you've just now cemented Lacey as a legitimate champion, not just, oh, hey, she's a transitional champion, or her championship run didn't mean anything. If somebody like Bianca, for example, beats Becky, or Shayna beats Becky, then same concept, right? You're now submitting them as a legitimate threat, because all Charlotte and Becky have done is they've been on top of those women's divisions for their entire time that they've been here.
Becky, no. Becky for the last year and a half.
Well, good point. I apologize. Good point.
Becky floundered for a while.
She really did. I felt so bad for her.
Listen, there was a time 2 years ago when we were doing lists of, I think it was the beginning of 2019 on our show, somewhere in that vicinity. We did a list of, in 2019, who's a potential candidate to get cut from the roster. And Becky was on that list at one point until everything took off at 2018. And then Becky took off, obviously at SummerSlam 2018, and, the rest was history. But, I look like I'm in the witness protection program. That's pretty funny. But, I'm with you guys. I agree to an extent, but I disagree, because there's never been an era where the top people have not been in the title picture. And at times won. Hogan was always in the title picture. Savage, once he moved up to the main event, he was always in the title picture. Warrior, these guys were always around the title. That being said, there has to be other opportunities. There's a time to be the champ and the placeholder, and there's a time to chase. And we're hitting the point where some of these people need a chase.
Yeah.
Particularly Bayley and Sasha. They could do a program on their own, and whoever you put over top in that, let them be the chaser. And let them build up that heat that way, or that, get over again that way. But I disagree in terms of Charlotte. I think Charlotte's the best women's wrestler in the company, even over Becky. She's hands down the best. And she's on par with your biggest male names. And she's earned it. She's not a Flair's daughter thing. She's fucking earned it.
And it's so
she
funny.
Deserves to have her place.
You brought up Flair's daughter, right? Her being Flair's daughter. Why is it when Charlotte does something, we say it's because it's Flair's daughter, but when
it's a lazy argument.
But hold on, because when Cody does almost the exact same thing, it's a legacy. I've seen that picture floating around over the last couple months.
I'll give my take on it, but I want to hear what Butters says on this one.
I don't know. Oi. My mind just went totally blank. I guess because they probably pushed the fact that, they pushed that fact down our throat so much about Charlotte being, Ric Flair's daughter, and haven't pushed the thought of, Cody being, Cody and Dustin being, Cody being Dusty's son. They don't push that down our throats.
See, I disagree. If you go back to the Goldust days, it was a very controversial character. And then they had a point where he was with Marlena, and they did a specific sit-down interview to where they went through they took the paint off of Dustin, and they did this whole interview about how he's really Dusty's son, and that they don't get there's a rift in the relationship. It was a whole big thing in the late 90s that they did to try to get that character to the next level. And similar with Cody and Andy, I don't know if you're in the same groups, but you've probably seen me hammer that exact point home to people, which is you're a hypocrite. If you're a person who's going to sit there and throw out the lazy argument that she's Flair's daughter, I hope that you say the same things about Cody and them, because it's absolutely the same thing. It's over in AEW. It's the boys club. I'm not a big Cornette guy, but I started listening to a couple of his podcasts lately, and I think that he's spot on. It's like a social hangout over there a lot of times with AEW. People are getting jobs that don't belong having jobs, like Michael Nakazawa and certain people just because they're buddies. I love the Japanese wrestlers, but a lot of the women are getting jobs because they're friends with Omega, and it seems like that's what it takes. Cody's amazing. There's no undenying his talent. So why is it that we look at Cody and say he's so talented, though? He's such a great talent that it supersedes the Dusty thing. And God, did they lay on that Dusty stuff for years with him.
Mm-hmm.
They really did. And he couldn't get over.
That program with Dusty and Cody and the Shield.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, but I look at Charlotte, and Charlotte she needed the boost to begin with. There wasn't a lot of confidence with her promos. Watch her early promos when she first hit the main roster. There was a little bit of a struggle when the crowd got into it. Sometimes she almost looked like a deer in a headlight. But having him there, it was the first level of that character. They did it with Rocky Maivia. They had Rocky Johnson with him at WrestleMania 13, for Christ's sake. We can't ignore that these people are legacy people.
Randy Orton and Bob Orton.
Absolutely. Yep. He was a huge figure in the early days of Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. We can't ignore this stuff. So why are we going to hold this against her? I mean, her father, just because her father was one of the greatest of all time, does that mean she's not allowed to earn that and be one of the greatest women of all time? It's just, it's super hypocritical to me. It pisses me off, and it's a lazy argument. And if that's what your opinion is, I think you're an idiot.
No, and I have to agree with you. I look at Charlotte as she's a trailblazer in the industry for what women are, right? She needed her dad there, to Chrome's point of she needed that boost. She needed someone that where if she started floundering, could grab the mic and without even a direction, pick up and go, okay, well, this is what's happening. You guys shouldn't talk to my daughter that way, blah, 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 blah. And get the rise out of the crowd, get the heat on him, and then let Charlotte do her thing, right? But then also the fact that she's won a ton of titles. She earned those spots. She earned those title matches. Yeah, and I just see Ricky posted it because I was about to bring it up myself. Did she win a lot of titles pretty rapidly during that bit with her and Charlotte where it seemed like the title was going back and forth almost every week? Yeah, she did. Big deal, right? The company is not about, and being a star is not about how many titles you have. We don't say Flair's one of the greatest of all time because he was a 16-time world heavyweight champion, because that number's not even accurate. No. Right? Go back and watch the Flair DVD from 2004, I think it was. He's won it's like 23, 24 titles, but WWE doesn't recognize those. Right? He is a multi-time world heavyweight champion, but that doesn't mean he's the greatest of all time. Flair is one of the greatest of all time because of the work that he did in the ring, the promos that he could cut, and the fact that he paid his dues and he put people over. He wasn't a selfish bastard and said, no, I'm not going to do the job for him. He did the job, and that's what Charlotte does. Charlotte has been in many title situations or many programs where it's like, wait, why is she losing? Perfect example. Was it New Orleans? After WrestleMania 34?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She put Carmella over. And the Iconics within 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, and Cody has also paid his dues, right? I think Cody is getting the pass from people because Cody went on to start his own company, right? He's in charge of AEW. That's why he gets the pass in people's eyes, and that's just a dumb argument. Just because I started a company, so does that mean we give Stephanie a pass? because she's at the top of her dad's company? Did she get that spot because of her dad?
Listen, I'll even add another layer onto that. Then the pushback is, well, Charlotte never put anybody over. She put Cody put MJF over, and he's one of the biggest stars in the world. No, first of all, MJF was a monster star in the independents before this, which is essentially what AEW is right now. It's a glorified independent, right?
Yeah.
Until then, they prove us otherwise. So
Pete's spot on. He says Cody's yet to win a major title.
Which at this point he wants. Right. Well, he won the NWA title, didn't he? Am I wrong about that?
No, he didn't win the NWA title. No, he's absolutely right. Absolutely.
But kind of going back to that, he didn't put MJF over. Tony Khan gave MJF a platform to get himself over in front of everybody. Not Cody. Tony Khan. Tony Khan owns it. That's the misconception. Cody doesn't own AEW. It is not his company. It is Tony Khan's company.
Right. You and I know that, but that's the argument that's out there. People aren't smart enough to realize that Cody doesn't own the company.
But they threw back in my face. Charlotte's never gotten anybody over. Look at what she did with Becky at SummerSlam 2018. I said, let's look at what she did with Becky. And this is going to go to your argument earlier, Andy. Okay. Look at what she did with Becky in 2018. Becky lost. Becky was floundering. Becky turns on Charlotte. She put Charlotte took the ass whooping of a lifetime from Becky, put that character over, propelled, basically created the man character, and was the perfect foil to the Becky Lynch man character to where she is today. She was half of what built that Becky Lynch character. And to your point, wins and losses and titles don't matter. It's a scripted sport, guys. It's a sport, but it's scripted. It's entertainment.
Absolutely.
Wins and losses don't matter. People, if you're a compelling character, if you can work your ass off and you can get a reaction, you're over. That's the deal.
That's why AEW keeping track of wins and losses. I could care less about that.
I do like that.
I mean, it's a nice little touch. Don't get me wrong.
I'll give them that. That's a cool touch. I like that.
It's a nice little touch, but to me, it doesn't matter a whole lot. I like it. Hey, it's cool. You know what? This guy's 153-7. Cool. He's just more favored in the company, right? And that's all that tells me, right? Ted brings up, not to get off topic, but Fiend, who was destroying everyone, lost to Goldberg, who got squashed by Braun. Now Braun's going to lose to the guy who got beat by Goldberg. Doesn't make sense. I'm going to talk about that because I didn't like it last night. I thought the promo was great. I thought Braun getting the last word in was perfect, but I don't want Braun Bray because someone's going to lose.
And I believe it's going to be Bray that's going to be losing. I don't see Braun losing it to Bray because then you put them back in that match in that point of Bray's got the title. Who's going to take it off of him?
I think we said it. What was it the other night, Chrome? I don't know if we were on air when we said it, but now this is a time for Braun to reinvent himself. And him getting that last word in was him reinventing himself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if that was on the air or not. It might have been, but you're right. This is an opportunity for Braun to, if he backed into the title because of what happened with Roman and rightfully, what's going on with Roman, he's out. It is what it is, but it's about taking advantage of the opportunities that are handed you and the cards that are dealt to you, right? So it's an opportunity for Braun to do that. That being said, I don't know that the company is behind Braun. And this could just be a transitional thing because, in fairness, I don't think they take the title off of The Fiend had this situation with Roman peaked earlier. I think that The Fiend would have carried the title through WrestleMania. So maybe they're looking at it from that perspective that, you know what, we're just going to kind of go back to that because we can roll with The Fiend for a while until all this clears up. And then you have Roman go over The Fiend and Roman take the title from The Fiend, and I'm okay with that too. I love Braun, but I got to be honest, there's something missing for me.
I I really wonder if they're giving Braun this opportunity and they're going to say, okay, you have to be able to carry yourself in a promo against Bray. Right? If you can do that, it's going to be kind of like a measuring stick. Because I can see both arguments. I can see Bray winning, right? And then Braun still kind of doesn't matter anymore, and he was just a transitional champion.
Yeah.
I could also see Braun winning, overcoming those fears, overcoming those demons that he has from being, with the Wyatts, and then actually he says, I'll let you in.
Yeah.
Right? And so he's confronting it head on. So it can go very different ways. It's still see, I'm the kind of person now, because I've been watching it for so long, I have to give them a couple of weeks to see where they go. I can't just immediately jump down something, because I know, hey, they're doing something now that's going to compile with what they do next week and the week after, and then I'm going to have a more clear picture. It was like the Bobby Lashley Lana thing, that train wreck. When Lana kisses Lashley on Raw, I think we were messaging that night, Chrome. I said, this is going to blow, but I'm going to give him the next week before I completely shit on it. And I did. I waited a week. They didn't do anything for me. That next week on the air, I trashed it. So I gotta give Braun a chance.
I want to see the full build up before I, like I said, I love Braun, but I want to see the full build up to this match before I give,
And I just think it'll be fun.
See, I expect good things from this in terms of the build up, because there is a legitimate history, behind this program. So that does intrigue me. I don't know. I mean, I know maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe it's because of what WWE has let him turn into, but there's something missing with Braun. The character's not developing, and that's a big issue for me. It's kind of going back to what, we were talking about with the Charlotte debate. I think when it comes to titles and it comes to this kind of stuff, how do you stay relevant? It's finding a way to develop your character constantly, to continue to stay relevant. The running over guys outside the ring is cool to watch, but I'm kind of over it. He's not much different of a worker than guys like Goldberg and that. There's about 5 or 6 moves of doom for Braun, and that's it. And
now they made that a T-shirt,
right? But every promo with Braun is getting these hands, man. Like, I'm over the. I'm kind of with a lot of the wrestling. I'm kind of over the catchphrases. Dwayne. It worked for Dwayne. It worked for Austin in certain things. But it's so predictable now, and if you're not developing the character, like I feel Braun's not, it's to me, it's not 100% on WWE. It is, but it isn't. Braun's got to do more for himself and prove that he deserves to keep that spot. We'll see if he does. I feel like this program will bring the best out of him,
right? Because it's somebody that, and not anybody he's ever feuded with. This is somebody he spent so much time on the road with. This is somebody he was on TV with, he rode with, he stayed with, everything like that. And Bray, like him or hate him, he brings out the best in everybody, right? Like, we weren't expecting that program with The Miz to be as good as it was. I know both are great separately, but I wasn't expecting it to be as good as I was. It's probably one of my favorite programs from the latter half of last year. Do you know what I mean? So, and hold on, I see it flying through the comments here. I want to touch on it before we create a new narrative. Mm-hmm. Joey DiBardino says that somebody did test positive, referring to a comment Pete made earlier. And he goes on to say they said unknown superstar. Negative. It was not a superstar. It was a member of the production staff. So before we create this new narrative, we were going to touch on it later, but I don't want that. I don't want it to be an unknown superstar. Let's get our facts right.
All right. Well, from what I read, I don't know that it said that it was an on-air talent, but not an active roster member, which tells me it could be somebody like Charlie Caruso, Paul Heyman, not an active roster participant.
See, I didn't read active roster participant.
I read it. Yeah, I read it was somebody. It said specifically it was an on-air talent, but not active roster.
So announcer, interviewer.
Could be one of the announcers. Could have been, a Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, somebody like that. But
okay. I just pulled it back up.
I made sure to read it a couple times before I hopped on here with you boys.
Yeah, because I have it right here, and I have the official statement from WWE. They say a WWE employee.
Right. They don't acknowledge much. Right.
Right. So for right now, I got to go with. I mean, I know Ryan Satin, and Ryan Satin is probably one of the most trusted names when it comes to WWE news, as far as not being affiliated with the company. I'm going to go with that, and because it doesn't say in this. That's not the right article I want. Never mind. Screw it. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. All right, so let's.
Well, just clear that up though. So the person tested positive after filming had wrapped from the previous week's taped.
Correct.
And they were already quarantined and they are already cleared. So this person isn't even walking around with COVID-19 anymore. They were quarantined. They did not come in contact with anybody from WWE after the fact, were beforehand, and Correct. They are now clear. So just so everybody knows, it's not somebody that was walking around the back that could have exposed anybody.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so let's go back to WrestleMania. Let's touch on Match 5. Match 5 is the singles. I mean, sorry.
You know, before you do that, I know you guys were talking about Orton and Edge, right?
Yeah, we were talking about Orton and Edge.
You know, I did want to just kind of chime in on that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I heard you guys talk about the time. This was tough. It was cool to see Edge back at WrestleMania. The second half of this was a little bit more entertaining. What made this brutal was the length of time. What made the time drag even more was the fact that the commentary team contributed nothing to it. It was very difficult to get through. And there was a lot of resting in the early parts of it. I felt like it kind of dragged until right around when Edge jumped off and put Orton through the tables is around where I felt like it started to pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a little bit rough.
It was really late on in the match. It was really late.
It was. I would say, you know, it's probably even beyond the halfway mark. I'm probably talking about 2/5. There was probably about 2/5 of the match. We're probably about 3/5 of the way through before it was starting to pick up a little bit. But, you know, you live and you learn, and it, you know, it was what it was.
Yeah, I mean, so that's why it was a tie for us between that match and the Sami Zayn Daniel Bryan match.
Could have did without that.
Right, but when you compare them match to match and you don't look at who's in it, right? I looked at the fact that it was in the right spot, right? Because you needed it coming out of, what was it, Shayna Baszler? Mm-hmm. Yeah, coming out of Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler, and it was right before the triple threat tag match. So it was in the right spot card-wise, right? It didn't feel too long. It didn't go on for too long. And the right outcome came out of it, right? You know, having Sami win, we may not think it's the right outcome now, but it'll keep progressing things. You know,
I have no problem with Sami winning that match. I thought it was fine. What I did like about it was, you know, how long have we been asking ourselves, boys? You know, is he able to take bumps? Because he was getting the Alexa Bliss treatment for a long time because of the concussion issues. So this was the first that we were able to see, you know, and when they were kind of easing him back in for the last 2 months, anytime he was physical, he was all offense and no, you know, defense. He wasn't taking any kind of shots or anything. And they almost turned that into a gimmick thing, right? To where he's kind of hit and run type.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see that he can take some bumps again, work a good match. You know, Ginger Castro did all right for himself. It wasn't too bad. I felt like it was a TV match. That was my issue, you know, but I think the right outcome came with that. And you're right. You guys are spot on. It was the right time in the card to put that match on.
Yeah. So to jump into the next match, you have the triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown tag titles. Morrison defeating Jimmy Uso and Kofi Kingston, going up against the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory.
Wow, so that puts match 6 as both the tag titles on the line at the same time, basically.
Yeah. And it's match 5, not match 6.
No, it's match 6. I got it on here as match 6.
Right, but I'm not counting the pre-show matches.
Oh, okay, that's why then. That's what it's counting.
Right, so pay attention. Focus in.
No.
So, I got to give it to the triple threat ladder match. I think that was superior over the Raw tag team title match.
Same.
You know, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against Street Profits. I'm actually very high on the Street Profits. But this getting thrown together at the last second, you know, I get why you did it because Andrade was hurt. But you could have found a different tag team. Where were the War Raiders? Where were anybody other than these two.
Any contender for the tag titles. But then again, how many tag teams do we have right now on Monday Night Raw that could be in that tag team contingent spots beside the War Raiders? They're not doing anything.
You know, and spot on, Butters. And then if you're trying to keep continuity to the storyline, you know, the War Raiders have been working with Owens and working with the Street Profits to kind of overtake the Messiah and his crew, right?
Right.
So, and I don't think it would do any well. Obviously, they're behind the Street Profits, and I'm for that. Right now, the War Raiders will get another run at the title at some point. And I don't think you want to sacrifice, though, the War Raiders right now in order to get the Street Profits over. And it was a good athletic match. I mean, listen, I'm a big Garza guy. I like Garza. He's got charisma out the ass.
Oh, yeah.
And I like Theory, too. It was just a weird team kind of put together. But I'm with you guys. I mean, I thought the tag match, the ladder match, was really good. You know, I wasn't a fan at first of having one representative from each, but if you kind of look at it and, hey, we're trying to minimize the amount of people that are in the room for obvious reasons, you know, these guys, they took the most athletic guys and they put on a hell of a show with it.
And then, of course, as you see, I think it's next week they're going to do it again, except with the other three guys.
Right.
I'm in. I love it.
Yeah, awesome. I think it's a great idea. See, I wish the only way – I rephrase that. I'm going to stick with I wish. I wish they would have given us like a YouTube exclusive or a .com exclusive, something like that, where they actually explained, you know, they showed Zelina going up to Austin Theory or, you know, some kind of reason as to why Austin's with Zelina, not just Tom Phillips saying, well, Zelina recruited Austin Theory. Come on, give me something better, right? You had an opportunity to do it. Give me something better.
Well, I don't – go ahead.
Maybe you know, Zelina is trying to get together a combinable stable. I don't know. I mean,
which I'm fine with. I'm fine with it.
That are trying to manage multiple people at one time to see if she can, you know, hey, how many people can you manage at once?
But let me ask you guys a question though. If this is a fill-in, right, and this is a guy who's already in Florida, it makes it easier for them. And he's a guy that they knew at least was a highly talented guy that could keep pace with these guys. If the vision is not to keep him on the main roster, are we going to start building a backstory right this second? Probably not. And that's to me, Austin Theory is going to be a big name on NXT, not with Raw and SmackDown, not right now. So I'm fine with no backstory to it and just kind of like, hey, she went and last minute had to pluck a guy. And to me, guess what? Going forward for Austin Theory on NXT and when he comes up later on, now he's got the feather in his cap that he has a WrestleMania match under his belt.
Fair. That's a fair point.
True enough.
No, I see your point there. But ultimately, yeah, you got to go with with Morrison, Uso, and Kingston. That was such a better match.
You know what, guys? In fairness, I didn't watch SmackDown last night because my DVR had it set as a replay, so it doesn't record replays. So now I have it set to watch it on Tuesday. But I read a little bit about it. I didn't know they were doing the match with the other three members, but I love that even more.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
At this point, you can tell me. It's 24 hours after. You can tell me. But, dude, honestly, I love that even more. And I like that you put the most athletic guys on the WrestleMania card. And now you can go and you can have the other half of that and give the other guys, you know, the other aspect of entertainment with it. I want to see Big E like powerbomb somebody through a ladder so bad.
I don't think they're doing a ladder match, though. I think it's just a regular match. Hold on, let me see.
I'd rather it be a ladder match.
I thought it was a.
It just says it might be right. It might be, but it just says here next week it'll be Jey Uso versus The Miz versus Big E for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Come on, give me a ladder match. I want to see Big E powerbomb somebody off a ladder match, or you know, or a big ending off a ladder match. Something.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Can I
Why
just
do you
say,
say
guys,
off a ladder match?
Can I just
it's
say
off a ladder?
Is the big ending the worst finishing move in the history of pro wrestling, guys? He literally picks a guy up and splashes the guy on top of him. How is that a fucking finisher?
I'm sorry. I don't like the chicken wing.
The cross-faced chicken wing?
I don't like it.
Have you ever been in it?
Yeah, it sucks. It fucking sucks.
It's a great finisher. I love finishers that would actually fucking hurt. I'll send you the picture. I have a picture with Bob Backlund actually put me in the chicken wing when I met him.
No, don't get me wrong. That's cool,
it hurts,
right?
like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, it fucking hurts.
Andy, it's like you picking me up and then just splashing me on top of you. You're under me.
Don't get me wrong, right? I'm not saying that the big
You're softening my blow, Andy.
I'm not saying it's not a bad finisher, but you asked what the worst of all time was. I had to give you my answer.
But here's the thing, though: if you're splashing on Andy, he's just a fluffy guy, so you're gonna get a soft, you get a soft landing.
Have you looked in a mirror? You are too.
I'm trying to make a point to my example here, okay?
There's a first.
But landing on someone like Big E, he's more well-toned, worked out. So landing on him would be more like landing on a harder surface.
Have you seen the size of those boobies? They're like pillows. I think it's the worst. I think it's the worst finisher in the history of professional wrestling. That makes no sense.
That gave me an idea, and Chrome, I will text you about it later.
Yes,
Lord.
I think we just came up with a new idea. But no, so yeah, I think we're gonna get just a regular match next week with them. In match 6, you have Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins versus the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match between the SmackDown women. I got to give it to Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. They put on such a better match, and you're going to have that Mania, that forever Mania moment of Kevin Owens coming off the top going through Seth.
Like, I could have given it to the Bayley match if they would have had, like, say, maybe the Sasha turn or Lacey winning, but it was just a Bayley wins. Yay! I love Bayley to death, but Bayley winning, for the umpteenth million time.
So wait, I need that comment put back up. Is the look at my mustache finisher? Is that the new Joey Ryan finish? Is that your Joey Ryan finisher?
How about we change? How about we change the name of it and we call it the Flavor Saver?
They're gonna be back in the studio, and he's gonna have like Peter Brodo grab his mustache, and they're gonna do flips with the mustache. Oh, you're all stupid.
Yeah, I would agree with that, by the way, guys. Andy, you're spot on. WrestleMania, whether there's a crowd or there's not, it's about entertaining the fans, being different, standing out, right? I always say when I judge WrestleManias, I don't judge the card. I judge the highest moments in the pay-per-view, right? And if it's a success. I look at this match and everything about that match. See, we were able to easily, within 5 seconds, pick out 5 things wrong with the women's fatal 5-way or whatever the fuck they call it, 5-way elimination match. When you look at this match, you go into it. It was a long build, but we got there. We knew it was going to happen at WrestleMania, and they made moments. There were we had the DQ, and then it turned into a no DQ. It was the interaction, hearing these guys talk shit to each other added so much to this. They told the story physically, verbally, and then Andy's spot on. What to cap that off, to make that what I would consider one of the best WrestleMania matches in the last 5 years at least, was you have an iconic moment, and it's jumping off of the logo, and it's not even just that. So that's going to live forever. That's not going to be something you're going to worry about having a crowd in the background. You're going to see Kevin Owens, a big guy, soaring with a massive WrestleMania logo behind his back and landing on Seth Rollins through an announce table. It's iconic. It was amazing.
Absolutely. All right, so this next setup, I don't think there's going to be much of a conversation because it's Braun Strowman versus Goldberg up against the Firefly Funhouse match.
As much as it confused the hell out of me, I'm just going to have to say the Funhouse match.
If you would have picked the Goldberg-Braun match, I'd have told Chrome where you live. I think Chrome would have killed you. I'm used to your stupidity, but I think Chrome would have killed you.
I would have strolled right by in a windowless van.
I'd probably hear the mustache coming.
Oh, God. But no, it's
there it is, baby.
There it is.
That's my actual physique, guys, just so you know.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, back in, never.
Never land.
For me, it's very clear. It's very obvious. It's a Firefly Funhouse. I could do a 2-hour conversation on a show just about the Firefly Funhouse. Andy knows this. I love everything about it. You know what's crazy about it, guys? Like, if you go back and watch it, every single time I watch it, I interpret it differently. And every single way I interpret it, I just find something amazing in it. It's so creative. It's so different than anything they've ever done before, even more than the Boneyard match. They really stepped out of their boundaries on this one. I think it was a home run, and I would venture to say this was the best thing about WrestleMania, and I'm not even kidding.
I think
I
this
know.
is one of the times that they could get away with doing it because they're not probably going to be in the arena at all for the entire match. So the fans aren't just going to be sitting there in the arena looking at a screen the entire time.
Well, I think Andy brought this up on my show, right? We were talking about, this is where they can learn things and experiment and really trial and error on things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something now that, you don't want to do it too much. Same thing with the Boneyard match. Let's not overexpose it. But you pick one time a year and you find the right opponent that you can do something like this and build this up. This could be something that they could do and really create really great moments with, once a year, every other year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even though you are 100% wrong. I think the Boneyard match was better, but, Undertaker.
Well, you're a mark.
Well, I'm a mark for the Undertaker.
I'm not knocking it, man.
Oh no, I'll wear that with pride. I'll wear that with.
The Boneyard match. I'll. That's another one. I give 5 out of 5 on that one. It was amazing to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
The reason I give the nod to Firefly Funhouse is it was so off the wall and totally nothing that you would expect from a Vince produced production that I can't help but tip my cap to them. Even if it wasn't that good, I would have given them a ton of credit for taking a shot like this.
Well, and that's what I said. I said this is the point where, because we're getting wrestling, and I know Tom asked a question probably half an hour ago at this point, but he asked us if we see WWE postponing anytime soon. And I think at this point, as long as we still have WWE, there it is. Well, y'all believe the WWE will shut down at some point. Depending on what happens with the state of Florida, I think they're going to have to at a certain point, right? So with whatever we get right now, and forever how long we're going to have it, I'll take whatever I can get. So yeah, could it have been really bad? I still would have liked it. I still would have given them credit.
Did you guys read the article about, so they're going back to live shows? Did you guys read that
No, I didn't.
On that?
I read something about they're going back next week to live shows.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of flack that they were kind of initially getting, but there was a deep dive into that report. So apparently, as part of the contract negotiations with Fox and with everything, WWE has only permitted 3 taped SmackDowns, or I think it's with NBC too. So with both programs, both networks, they're only allowed 3 taped shows per year, which clearly they've already hit that point. So if they, with all the money that they kind of lost right now, if they breach that, then those networks can renegotiate the terms of their deal, which means lost money for WWE.
So I'll say this, though. I think it's a really bad PR move.
Yes. But you have, in terms of survival, but you have to do what you have to do.
Right. No, I get that. I think it's a bad, I don't mean on WWE's part.
Yeah.
I think if this is 100% true and the contract states, and I normally I'd be okay with that, right? I want the live show. I like the live show more, right?
But this
is such a rare occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pandemic situation that threatens everybody's lives. And if Fox and NBC are going to take WWE to task for this, for doing tape shows, for still putting a product out, because let's be real, right? they're still keeping up a contract in the sense that they're putting a product out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is not a shot at baseball. This is not a shot at the NBA or the NHL. They're not putting anything out. So the TV deals that they have, you're not getting anything out of it. You're getting something out of the WWE. And AEW may not put anything out either, because I've heard they halted production.
Meaning,
Yeah, well, they filmed about 6 weeks ahead of it a time though, knowing
and as
that
far as
could happen.
we know of, with like the sports and stuff, the networks ain't going to take the sports to town because they know it's a pandemic going on. There's, they can't force them, hey, get on TV now, or, this is going to happen. You can't force it right now with everybody shutting it down.
See, Pete put it down. So the comment before was that somebody heard they taped a lot Friday, and Pete said they canceled the tapings. This is the report that's out now. And listen, we know there's a pandemic going on, but everybody's losing money. Networks, everyone.
Yep.
Everyone is losing money. And if you don't think that these companies are going to do what they have to do in order to get the quality program that they're promised, or if they can use that to leverage less of an expenditure, like in the contract, there's a reduction of how much money they pay WWE for that program. You don't think they're going to expose that? And it is what it is. I mean, Vince has to do it. He just lost a ton of money on the XFL.
Yeah.
People forget about that.
That breaks my heart.
I think the XFL could have made another year. They expected to be able to be not profitable for about 2 or 3 years. But that was prior to this.
I mean, maybe they, fired everybody just because of the pandemic, and then maybe next year they'll try to start it back up again.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's done.
It sounds like it's dead in the water. But, Chrome, I do have a question for you.
They had a cushion. Real quick, they had a cushion that would have lasted them about 3 years to not be profitable, to turn a profit with the XFL. Because of the shutdown and having to pay all their employees, they were paying the roster. They made a commitment to the roster, the players on the rosters, that they were going to pay their full salaries throughout the year. That bubble of money, that pot of money they had, has now dwindled, obviously much faster than they expected.
And there's nothing going back into the pot.
Right, without anything coming back in. And they're at the point they would have had to fold after about 2 or 3 years. And unfortunately, they've hit that threshold now where there's nothing to gain back at this point.
It's rough because I really think Houston was going to win it, which would have been cool. Yep. The championship game would have been here. But that's neither here nor there. However,
I mean, that league is snake bitten, man.
Oh yeah, it's because it's got a bad rap from way back when.
I mean, well, they had a little bit of a quality thing going. I think they would have made some tweaks this year, going into next season to improve the quality of it. Trial and error. But man, it's snake bitten. Like, who the hell would have seen this happening? You know what I mean? And they built it up for years to get back to the XFL, and then this shit happens, week 4, week 5?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no. But, Chrome, Ryan needs to know why you look like an undercover wannabe porn star from the 80s.
First of all, I'm handsome as shit, so let's not take shots.
But then
Secondly, it's a beautiful day. I'm sitting outside, and the sun is out, so I have my sunglasses on.
Well, so that's why he goes. That's why he goes on to say that you're practicing the cosplay version of Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911. You plan on hitting up a Wizard World Comic Con this year?
I mean, I'll be honest. If I'm like just kind of looking at my little image here, I feel like I look like Andy Reid.
A less fat Andy Reid? Like Andy Reid before the cheeseburgers?
Like Andy Reid, like 99 when he first signed his Eagles.
I was going to say, like 1999 Andy Reid.
Right. Yeah. And it's
actually,
funny.
Now that you say it, now I see it.
So when you have a mustache, and I swear, guys, it's such an off-color conversation, but I've noticed that I almost make different facial expressions not knowingly. Like, I feel like I always do the, like, lip out, tuck the bottom lip thing, like. And I don't know why I do it, because I don't do it when I have a beard, but it's like.
At that point, you look like a skinnier Wilford Brimley to me.
Somebody else said that earlier, too.
Oh, God. That's amazing. We're going to have so much fun with you in this mustache. It's going to be so good. I swear.
Well, listen, I don't know how long I'm rolling with it. I figure
and that's why we're going to have as much fun as we can.
I figure I'm a pandemic. There it is, baby. I'm bored as shit. It was either shave my face clean or grow my beard all the way out. And I figured, you know what, I'm just going to shave it and leave it stash.
Well, I mean, Butters up there got rid of all the hair up north.
Nice. Yeah, no, not me. I'm letting the fro go, baby.
Oh, for the love of God, both of you put your hats back on. What are you doing?
Little dance.
All right, so moving on. We have the Boneyard match going up against Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. Do we even need to have the conversation?
Nope.
Boneyard all the way, baby.
So
Boneyard all the way.
So it's actually really comical. It's a tie. 4-4. What the hell was that?
Hi.
That would be my wife.
Okay.
I don't want to be that guy, but has anybody ever seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
It's been years since I've seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh, okay. So there's a part where Jason Segel's talking to his stepbrother, and the wife kind of pops in the exact same way, and then he's like, she starts talking. She's like, "How does this work?" And he's like, "You got to get closer to the mic, a little bit further, closer, a little bit further, closer, a little bit further." And he's like, that totally reminded me of that moment.
So Jake Friel,
it's a great moment.
Jake Friel chimes in. What's up, boys? Have to disagree with the poll. Night 2 was slightly better, but thought both nights were fantastic. I got to disagree with Jake, man.
So if I'm going to go tiebreaker, right? There's two ways you can look at the tiebreaker. Go ahead, Butters. I'll give mine after yours.
I mean, if you look at, what we've given each night, it's looking like night 2's gone better by 1 point.
I got a tie over here. I don't know where we miscounted. I have a tie over here. Screw it. Let's just go to a tiebreaker. Fuck it.
So here's what I would say. If you want to look at it in terms of the absolute number one program you would select, like for me, it was the Firefly Funhouse, and maybe I'll go 2, but I'm going to go 1 because the way I look at it is measure it by the highest moments of the show then. And to me, night 1 had way higher moments than night 2.
Well, and not even that, right? How did you feel when each night ended? Right? That last shot you have at night 1 was Undertaker riding off after the Boneyard match, and we were all we were amped up and we were excited. We were really excited for night 2. Night 2 ends with Drew winning in a rinse and repeat match from the night before, right? Where it was a finishing spot fest.
You know, Andy, I feel like that's a tough way to kind of measure it, though, by how I felt. Like if I'm going by live, because by night 2, you're kind of burnt out a little bit too at that point.
But see, I don't think we were.
I kind of was.
Well, I only think you were because of the Edge and Orton match.
Well, I mean, but I had the high of Bray and Cena to kind of build it back up. So I mean, if
night 1 left me wanting more, and then night 2, I was just like, hey.
I'm just looking at when I look back, guys, and I say, like for me, I measure the success by moments, right? I saw more iconic moments that stand out to me on night 1 than I did on night 2. There was, if you go through the night 1 card and night 2, to me, night 1 had the best overall moments. Even the matches that weren't so great had great moments.
Right, and I have to agree, right? You measure a night based on moments, right? Especially when something's scripted the way this is. You measure a night on moments. But too many times have I been walking out of a wrestling show or doing one of these where we talk about a wrestling show, and it's always that final shot that, like TakeOver a few years back when they gave us the little, what's it called? The little title card at the bottom, and then Ciampa throws Gargano into the screen and beats him up, right? Moments like that, but that's also the final thing you see. The final thing you see always resonates with people. So I've walked out of wrestling shows where I was like, wow, that was a really good show. Ending sucked, but it was a really good show. And Bischoff gives the same commentary with a movie, right? Yeah. The ending's good. If the ending to the movie sucks, you're going to say the movie sucked. But if the ending...
I'm confused by Ralph. Ralph, you said Undertaker needs to leave. You loved everything about the Undertaker this week.
And then he says, Kane and Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, let's do it. Give the people what they want.
Oh, I'm with you on that. Let's go.
Since the WWE loves bring back old people, why not bring back RVD? Because they bring back his whore of a wife.
Because he's a mess.
He's an Impact.
I gotta go grab a beer. I'll be right back.
Okay. But no, so like it's always different moments. It's always, you know, that last thing you see at the end of the screen, at the end of the night. You know, Thomas chimes in, Undertaker's a legend, but it was one match. Andy needs to let it go. We have buried alive matches. Firefly Funhouse was unique, one of a kind night too. But I don't look at this as a buried alive match, Thomas. I don't. Right? And you know, you can say I need to.
Live matches are just in the ring, you know, a back and forth, you know,
right. This
knocker, whatever the hell you want to call it. And this one was more of a, you know, you actually got more in depth with it. You're all over. You're able to get up and down, and
there was more to it than just a match where you had to bury the guy. Because let's be real, going into it, we didn't know that that's how they were going to win.
Correct.
You know,
AJ,
and and if he wants to go down this rabbit hole with me and say Firefly Funhouse, you know, it was, let's say it was just one match. The Firefly Funhouse was just one match, and it wasn't even a match. It ended with the mandible claw on Bray, the Fiend doing the mandible claw to Cena, and Bray counting the 1, 2, 3. I don't really consider that a match.
With the Fiend standing tall, and it ended like, did the Fiend win? Did the match go uncontested? Did the match?
Was it even really a match? No, I don't think so. You know, and I've said it from day one, right? Not day one. I've said it since last week. It's not a match. It was a segment. It was a segment where Bray went over.
And I feel like it was also a segment that kind of hinted at John Cena's retirement, you know, saying, I'm out of the way.
Even if it's not hinting at that, right? Because I don't necessarily think that's how Cena's going to go out.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go out differently. But it gave us a reason for, one, Cena not to be on TV.
Yep.
Two, it gave us a way for Cena to kind of put Bray over, fix these different mistakes, right? So, you know, I understand. And I understand where Thomas...
colors.
Huh? Yeah, got Cena in some NWO colors. But to say that I need to let it go, I don't need to let it go. Let me be very, very clear here, right? The Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard match were very unique. Yeah, AJ was buried alive at the end of it. Okay, fine. But I don't consider either one really a match. Let's be real here. I don't consider either one a match. They were both segments. One was a mini movie. The other one was and this is not a knock, but it was a glorified "This Is Your Life."
This is your life with hints of this is what your life could have been.
Yeah, you know, you saw it happening a mile away. Firefly Funhouse was possibly seen as last match. Boneyard was good. I'm sorry, I'm gonna call bullshit. Right? I don't think you saw it coming a mile away. Nobody saw it coming a mile away. Right? Nobody knew what this was gonna be.
Yeah.
At all. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's just I have to disagree with you. You know, I love the fact that you're here every week and you chime in and you want to give us a hard time. That's fine, but I'm going to disagree with you on this one. No. Sorry, I'm off my soapbox. Comment fired me up.
Woo!
Because he always wants to sit there and disagree with me, which is fine, right? What we're here for, but you know, stop taking shots just to take a shot. So anyway, moving on. What did you guys think of the Raws after WrestleMania? It was different. It had a very different feel to it.
I mean, without the crowd being there, it kind of did nothing for me for the bits I did watch, because I'm more interested in the crowd after Mania than I am most of the matches. I'm also interested in maybe either returns or new call-ups, and the only thing that, you know, piqued my interest was seeing Nia Jax come back. Love me some Nia Jax.
I think the Bianca Belair, her coming out was downplayed by her coming out on Sunday night. I think if she hadn't have come out Sunday night, that would have meant more. And I think that entire segment just ran too long. They were the first, past the Asuka Liv Morgan match, which I honestly thought Liv was going to win.
I was kind of hoping she would win that one.
That next bit just ran too long for me.
And she's already calling herself the EST of Raw. Come on, you ain't done jack squat on Raw, but one.
But it's keeping her character. Her character is still
but
transitioning, right? Because she's the baddest, the strongest, the fastest, or whatever the hell else she says.
she didn't do much in NXT.
What's your
Nah,
point?
man, she's the best.
So I think that ran too long. The Nia Jax return, even though Chrome is not a Nia Jax fan, and I have to agree with him, the stuff she does outside of the ring, right?
Haters.
She sucks in the ring too.
I was gonna get there. She's not all that great in the ring, but it was nice to see her come back, coming off of the surgery.
Wait, real quick. I'm not even gonna read the rest of the comment. I'm gonna read the first sentence. Neither match was real. None of the matches are real, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a scripted sport. It's entertainment. So I didn't even need to read the rest of it.
No. And then
as soon as you lead off with this wasn't real, none of it is. It's entertainment. We know that. We love it. They're athletes, but it's scripted.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's not real. I want to say it's scripted. I don't like saying it's not real.
It's scripted. It's absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, right?
But no, his whole thing is that he's, I'm dumber than he thought because I didn't know didn't read the rumors that the badass was coming back. Dude, we had rumors for the last 2 years that the badass was coming back.
How about this? How about this, buddy? It's WrestleMania season. Some people don't want everything spoiled for them. If you want to be a mark and read every dirt sheet, have a fucking good time doing it. But for us, we don't give a shit. Some people like to be surprised, pal. I do say that to Andy. I say that to Andy all the time.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, if I gotta be heel Chrome, I'll be heel Chrome. I don't give a shit because to me that's just trolling to troll. Who fucking cares?
He brings it up because I said the Funhouse wasn't a real match.
None of them were real. It was an entertainment thing, and if you said that when I wasn't here, then screw you too.
Well, no, I said it wasn't a real match in the sense of there was no referee, that's where I was going with.
None of them were real matches.
Right, I said neither one was a real match.
Right.
Neither the Boneyard match nor the Firefly Funhouse.
Right, they were entertainment. Match. Right, it was an entertainment thing.
Right.
It was a match, but it wasn't a match. Here's the thing, right? Here's where he's a mark. Or whoever, maybe not him. I'm just going to say everybody in general, right? Who hated this shit. A lot of these people I see who read it and hate it were people who I've seen 2 years ago raving about Lucha Underground, who did this same shit all the time, who are Matt Hardy marks, who 3 weeks ago were posting about how great Matt Hardy's going to be in AEW. But now they want to dump on it because it's WWE or find excuses why, it's not worthy of this or that. They're going out, they're fucking evolving with the times, and they're doing something different. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Amen, brother.
I didn't like the Drew McIntyre bit at the end of the night. I thought that was weird. I thought it was stupid.
What's that?
You didn't love Big Show challenging?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was amazing. It's the first time that's ever happened in WrestleMania history that somebody's challenged 30 minutes or less.
I love your sarcasm. It's fantastic to me. I can't believe he said that either. I really
Byron, man. WrestleMania 9, dude. It's like one of the most iconic moments, even though the WrestleMania is not highly looked upon. It's an iconic moment. Everybody knows that.
But you do know what I thought was just absolutely fantastic? The Aleister Black Apollo Crews match. I think was the best thing to come out of Monday night.
That was awesome. Man, I would love to see how that match would have got over with a crowd.
I think they would have been all into it.
It was a great match. I just didn't like their explanation for Apollo Crews being put on Raw.
The unused draft picks. Yeah, that was kind of dumb.
Yeah,
that was kind of cheesy. But
expiring draft picks. You've got a draft coming up soon, a couple months possibly.
But one, we don't know if the draft's happening. Two, it was a nice way to put Apollo over on Raw and give us a great match. If the match would have sucked, I think we're having a different argument right now. but the match was fantastic.
The match was awesome. I'm not going to get back on my soapbox about Apollo Crews. I've done it a million times on my show. I've talked about him before with you, Andy. I'm an Apollo Crews guy. They haven't given him an opportunity. He's proven that he can talk now, which is huge. This is one of the few guys I would love to see to get a shot at AEW. To be honest with you, I don't think he's ever going to be used properly in WWE. I don't know why they don't get behind him, but I think that he could really flourish in AEW. And I want him to be a heel because I feel like he has a lot in that. I think there's a lot in there in terms of that. If you remember his promos, it was right around when Roman went out with the leukemia stuff, right? Like specifically, he did a promo in Philly the last week. It was the last Raw that Roman was in ring. He was with the Shield in the main event. Crews did a promo there, and I was with one of our buddies, and I remember we sat there and we said, damn, they're actually letting this guy talk. Like there's something there. And he did for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then he disappeared again.
Yeah.
But that showed me this dude could be, he could work his ass off with anybody. And I know this dude could cut a heel promo.
Could that possibly be because, they have Bobby Lashley now. They don't need Crews. Crews could have been in that Bobby Lashley spot.
I was there the night Apollo debuted on the main roster. I was there it was in Dallas right after WrestleMania 32. And I knew nothing about him, but I was all in because everything he did in the ring was fantastic. I think he was still doing the standing backflip as a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
We got Go Navy chiming in from Niners country, Reno, Nevada. Is it still going to be Niners country with them getting the Raiders?
That's my family. Go Niners.
Are you a Niners?
Not Niners. Navy. Go Navy.
Oh,
I was reading the second half as I was talking.
Back up. You're a Niners fan? What?
No. That's Chuck's.
Chuck's is a Niners fan?
He's an Eagles fan. The Niners are like his second team he grew up with. I was just reading the comment as I was talking about his name. Now, go Navy. My sister was in the Navy. She served in the Navy. So.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I think SmackDown was an overall better show, though.
That's bullshit. Take that shit down. That's bullshit. Who's producing today?
Frank.
Damn you, Frank. Yes, see, I'm all about that. You want to put my physique out there, I'm all about it.
Spreading fake news, though, you're not about it?
I'm all about it. Gentlemen, I'm going to hop off.
Okay. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me, and everybody stick with these guys, man. They're awesome, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
I'll text you, Chrome.
Stay safe, boys.
Later, bud.
Later.
So I think SmackDown was an overall better show. I think, starting off with the women's tag team match, it was, again, another great match, but it was very different at the same time. I'm excited, though, for this 25th anniversary of Triple H.
Wait, what?
So that's right. Did you watch it live or did you watch recaps?
Recaps. I guess
so. You probably didn't get it because there was a vignette in between commercial breaks.
Okay.
In 2 weeks, there's going to be a 25th anniversary starting for Triple H, and that's all they've said. They didn't give us any details on what it was, but as always, WWE video package was great. It had Stephanie starting it out. I think it's part of her promo from WrestleMania 32. And then it had Triple H finishing it out, and I think it's his promo from it's the one when he says, "I'll be the game one more time." Ooh. I don't remember which promo that was. I think that was his Daniel Bryan promo, maybe. You had The Miz and more. You had Dolph Ziggler and Otis was fantastic. Because I'm sorry, Dolph Ziggler and Tucker. I've read Otis because Tucker shows pictures of Otis and Mandy Rose working out together. Tucker looks great in this, though. He was very violent, very just, this is for Otis kind of thing. The only thing that sucked was, in typical WWE fashion, Tucker has a great match, this, that, and the other thing, gets super kicked, and it's over.
See, now this is where I hope it eventually leads to Heavy Machinery getting that tag team title shot and the tag team title gold, which is what I've been wanting for a while now. But now seeing Otis got his girl, now maybe Tucker, with Otis can go and get that gold.
Yeah. I mean, they've got the golden goddess.
Heck yeah. Somebody called the new name for heavy machinery with Mandy Rose should be I think it was Heavy Desire.
I saw something like Golden Machinery or something like this, which just leaves a really weird thought in your head.
God, it really does.
The Miz and Morrison come out to perform their song "Hey Hey." All right, let me tell you, you have to go back because I don't know what you saw recap wise. You have to see if you can find the full segment of this. It's hysterical because before they start this version, to perform "Hey Hey," they pretty much do a recap of WrestleMania. And one of the things they say is Braun Strowman won the Universal title. He beat a guy that's never really around, which means our champion would be around more than most of the champions. That's good news. Oh, they took shots everywhere.
All right, I just wrote it down so I can go watch it later.
Yeah, you need to go watch that. That was great. And that's when they come. The Usos come out. The New Day come out, and they explain how there's going to be next week. The other members of the team will be wrestling. The Forgotten Sons debuted.
Yeah.
I hate them so much.
I feel like there is something there for them. I just give it time.
But I do like the fact that they didn't squash Lucha House Party. I mean, you knew the Forgotten Sons were going to win, but it wasn't like they came in, beat them up, and left. Carmella and Dana Brooke are oddly going to tag to go up against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
It'll give them something to do.
If I swear to God, and don't get me wrong, I love Dana Brooke, I love Carmella, but if you put the titles on Dana Brooke and Carmella, I don't know what's going to happen.
See, I feel like this is your typical, you put two people together and they go and win the tag team title gold situations right here.
I mean, my God, I have no idea.
I mean, would you honestly feel bad if Dana Brooke won a title?
No, I'm a huge Dana Brooke fan.
Okay, then, give it up.
I'm a huge Dana Brooke fan. I think she's been underutilized. Bailey and Sasha Banks cut a promo about Bailey's win at WrestleMania. They're interrupted by Tamina, who was eliminated first at WrestleMania, and she's claiming that nobody beat her at WrestleMania. And then literally goes on in the next sentence to say that it took all of you to eliminate me. Last time I checked, when you get eliminated, you were beaten. Or did I miss something somewhere along the lines?
I think what she meant was it took all 5 women to take her out. It couldn't, not just one woman can do it. It took 4. There we go. Let me recount that. 4 women.
I mean, okay. Look, don't be wrong. I love the fact that they gave Tamina screen time. They gave her a microphone. They let her talk. And what was fantastic was they capped that promo off with Tamina saying to Sasha that your best friend just screwed you. And let Tamina be that one. So Chrome just chimed in. He's saying that Lashley, Graves, and Carmella tested positive for COVID-19. Take that with a grain of salt. I mean, that would kind of make sense because
I can see Graves and Carmella because they're always together.
Well, and they live in they're staying in the New Jersey area, which is a hot spot, right? And they weren't on TV for a while. Now they're back. So I'll take it with a grain of salt, but it would make sense. The Lashley thing, that one I'd really take with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that one I can see with a big grain of salt.
And then Braun Strowman defeats Shinsuke Nakamura.
That was kind of an oddball. Like, I guess they needed somebody, for Braun to do something with that night. I guess just Nakamura just seemed the right person.
Well, here's what I like about it. I like the fact that, the Nakamura thing, well, it's because Braun beat Nakamura for the Intercontinental title, if you remember correctly.
Okay. That's right. That makes much more sense.
But I like it because this could be where Braun is now. He may not be defending the title every night, but we're going to see him in action every night. And that's not something you've seen from the WWE champion in quite a while.
Or from the Universal, either one. I mean,
yeah, it's been quite a while. All right, let's get into the run-in for a little bit. Let's talk a little.
Oh wait.
Sure. What do you got?
We need to talk a little NXT, baby.
Ooh, I'm sorry. Chrome totally threw me off because we talked NXT the other night, but I need to get your thoughts I need to get your thoughts on. Let's talk about Io Shirai winning
That
the.
was an oddball. That was an oddball one. I could have seen the way they were pushing it. I could have either seen maybe Tegan or Chelsea winning it. But Io Shirai kind of just that one threw me off.
I really liked the match. I would have been better off if like Dakota Kai or Tegan Knox would have won.
I can see Tegan because then you have, Tegan versus Charlotte would be a good match, or
Well,
maybe
Dakota Kai right now would be a great match because these are both NXT originals,
yep.
right? And Tegan looked so good.
And then her getting put through that ladder, that spot, that made me cringe.
Yeah, well, both spots they did made me cringe. With Mia Yim and is it Renee Gonzalez? Them going through the table, and then Tegan going through the ladder, and Chelsea Green getting messed up on the other side. Raquel, sorry, somebody just dropped it in. Sully Perfect 10 just dropped it in saying Raquel, which is funny because she's a Sam Houston alumni. Buddy of mine knows her personally,
Oh,
and
wow.
they to the point where they were texting after her debut. Like he texted her, he's like, "Hey, wow, that was really good, congratulations." But no, I would have been okay if Candice won. I mean, there's nobody in here, and even Io, right? Even having Io win, there's nobody in here where I could say, hey, it didn't make sense for them to win. That's what I love about some of these ladder matches that they put together, is because I can take somebody, lately, I've been able to take somebody and go, all right, they can win, and here's what they would do afterwards. There's nobody that says, wow, I really don't see them winning this match. Now, Io was the one with the least probability to win in my book, because having Charlotte be the champion and then Io still a heel, like they're too conflicting for me.
I mean, I feel like right now Charlotte's in that in between. She's in that void of heel, baby face. She's got that neutral stance right now.
Okay, that's fair.
What about that Balor, Walter tease?
Because we don't know when it's going to happen, I take it with a grain of salt right now. NXT UK has, and I actually have it here, they've canceled all tapings for right now. There was a tweet that went out on the NXT UK Twitter account that said, this is the assistant to NXT UK General Manager Sid Scala. I pronounce his name wrong, but everything is unusual right now, to say the least. But to keep the NXT universe entertained, we'll be bringing you some special shows in the coming weeks, starting this Thursday. We'll be taking a look back at the beginning of our brand, starting from the first tournament in Blackpool to the Royal Albert Hall, to the very inception of NXT UK as a weekly show. Join us for in-ring action and hear exclusively from superstars who were involved. And then it goes in yada, 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 where you can check it out at. And stay home, stay safe, and thank you. We are NXT UK.
Okay, speaking of NXT UK, this will kind of... William Regal announced early in the week a tournament to crown a new interim champion.
Right, I have notes on that too.
Why are we crowning an interim champion? Because Jordan Devlin's been defending it, but here's the problem. You're going to say, I want to crown an interim champion because Devlin can't defend it right now because he's in the UK. Where were you at when Brock Lesnar wasn't defending the title?
So I think it's a little bit different now. And here's why. When Brock wasn't defending the title, it's not like we couldn't reach Brock. It's not like we couldn't say, hey, you need to come down in 2 weeks to do a show, right? We don't know when the travel ban's going to be lifted. We don't know when Jordan Devlin's going to be able to come back. To the same point, right? Because William Regal's asked, if you're going to do a tournament for the NXT Cruiserweight title, what are you going to do about the tag titles? Because Pete Dunne's stuck over in the UK as well. So Regal says, he goes, yes, another perplexing thing. So Pete Dunne is in the UK. So the Bruiserweights being the tag team champions, I've still got to make a decision on that. And hopefully I'll have some kind of one. I'm forming options. I want it to be the best possible option, and I'll be letting you know hopefully next week.
I mean, do you see an interim partner, or do you just see him stripping them of the titles and going, here's another?
Well, I don't see this as them stripping them of the titles. I see this as, and I didn't watch the Regal thing. I have to go back and watch it, especially now that they've released how the bracket's going to look for, the format's going to look. The bracket gets released tomorrow for the Cruiserweight title. But I see it being whoever becomes this interim champion is champion until the travel ban's lifted. Jordan Devlin comes back. They have a match, and Devlin goes over. Ultimately goes over, right, to continue his run, to continue what he's been doing. Because NXT UK as a whole has been halted. That's why this Walter Balor thing, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
I mean, but you still get this build up to it, though. That's still a good thing.
Right.
Not, it's not.
And we're taking the New Japan route with this. There's 8 superstars, 2 groups of 4. Each superstar will compete against the other 3 members of his group. The best record of those matches goes on to the finals. If there's a tiebreaker, it's going to be the head-to-head record. And the brackets get released tomorrow. So we'll definitely see how that plays out. We got about 15 minutes left, so let's get into, I know you want to talk about the ladder match. I know you want to talk about Gargano and Ciampa, so let's dive right into it.
Woo, man, what a match. I mean, this is a brawl, just brawl for all, just, I'll pull a little JR here and we'll call it a slobber knocker because that's exactly what it was. I mean, to start off with Triple H setting down the chair in the middle of the ring, telling the boys, when I walk through that door, you can do whatever the hell you want. I mean, this is a match of...
loved that.
I mean, this is pretty much saying this match isn't on the books, technically. When I walk out that door, I don't see what the hell you're doing.
Drake's here just to count the 3. I loved how they positioned Triple H in this entire storyline, right? To the point where this isn't something that William Regal can handle. This is something that Triple H has to come in and as the major authority figure and handle. And he was very honest with him. He goes, look, we're going to put you in this arena, this darkened area. And we know it was at the Performance Center.
Yeah.
Right? You ultimately know that. But we're just going to let you do whatever you want. Beat each other, bruise each other up. But when it's over, it's over. We're not doing this again. We're not going through this again. It's done for. And having Candice show up, having Candice with Johnny in the beginning, and give him that what we come to find out is a cup was a great little touch because I forgot about it. Like I saw him hand it to her hand it to him, and then I never saw it again until he pulls it out at the end of the match. But it's like I totally forgot because the match was just so riveting. Like,
I like that little bit of deception. When she's looking at Ciampa, telling him, "That's not my husband anymore. I don't know who he is.
I hate my husband."
And then kicks her husband right in the nuts, and you're like, "What the hell just happened?" And then she turns around and kicks Ciampa in the nuts, and you're just like, "Wait."
Well, I knew you were working, so I texted Chrome and Pete, and I said, like, when she kicks him in the nuts, Johnny in the nuts, I went, "Oh my God, you have to turn on NXT." Like, if you're not watching it, because we had AM and the PM on here, and the 3 of us were in the AM and the PM chat, but I had NXT on off to the side, and when she kicked him, I said, "You have to stop, turn it on right now," and they weren't watching it yet. Pete was a little bit behind. And then she kicks Ciampa, and I'm like, wait a minute. I have no idea what just happened.
Exactly.
And it was great. And they, like, these 2 were 2 of the guys that you could put in the situation, and it really worked. Just like AJ and Undertaker, just like Bray and John, right? You put them in a situation where you have to tell the story for a long period of time. Because I think they went longer than both the Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard match. But this was more violent. This was like they broke a couple crutches over each other.
I think they were trying to go in the style of the match between like Moxley and Omega with that off the book.
Did you see the imprint of the crutch on Ciampa's back?
No, I did not. I guess I missed that.
You gotta go back and watch it, man. There's an imprint of the crutch on Ciampa's back.
Woo woo.
And they're saying, and I went back and watched it a couple times, and you can't get a clear shot, right? Brodo says he saw it. A couple other guys have said they see it, but it looks like in the car, that black car as Gargano and LeRae drive off. They say it's Killer Cross and Scarlett Boudreaux.
I mean, there was a teaser earlier tonight for Killer Cross.
Right, I knew about that, but they say that too. It was. I haven't been able to find a clear picture of it.
There's Johnny and Candace?
So watch it back when Johnny and Candace are leaving. There's a black car there, and you can tell there's a blonde in the car. Right, that's all you can tell. The way they shoot it. So
we might be setting up something for those two versus Johnny and Candace.
Which I'm okay with. I'd be fantastically okay with. As we know, the Revival was released yesterday. They reportedly have no 90-day compete clause.
I heard that's a very interesting thing because I figured WWE would have gone the petty route and released them a few days before their contract is up, just to make them have that 90-day and be like.
Well, no, but think about it though. AEW has taped the next 6 weeks of programming.
Well, yeah, but that's the next 6 weeks. Those only 40 days.
Still, that's 40 days you're not on TV.
Correct.
That's 40 days of you not capitalizing on you leaving the company. Yeah, when they go to AEW, it's going to be big, but I don't think it's going to be as big. It's just like when when Bret Hart left the WWF back in the day, and he wasn't on Nitro for 3 or 4 weeks. Right after the screw job. It wasn't till, it might even be longer than that, right? But they waited so long to bring out Bret Hart, and people weren't really into it as much. All that momentum that they had kind of died.
Correct.
Other thing I want to bring up, Money in the Bank has been canceled by Royal Farms Arena. WWE still promoting the event because they're going to have Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro and Naomi versus Dana Brooke in qualifying matches. So I think it was just canceled by the arena, not WWE. Yes.
The arena, from what I've read, is the same thing as the arena canceled it, so that means WWE is probably more likely going to have it at the Performance Center.
Right. All right. WWE, well, not WWE. In this very ring, Universal Predictions Championship.
Oh, boy.
Okay. We do have a new champion. I am waiting to confirm with him all the details, right? As far as make sure I have the right person and everything like that. Because I don't like to make these announcements until I have heard from the person. But I will say it is Mark, and I'm going to butcher his name, Matakai, I believe is how you say his last name. Okay, he's somebody that has been following the show for a little bit. We've talked in a couple of different wrestling groups that I'm in. So he got a 14 out of a possible 16. He absolutely crushed it. So he is a Universal Predictions champion, but due to everything going on, I'm not sending the title. Just because we're not running the risk of sending the title one spot and then sending it to another spot and everything like that. So for right now, it'll stay here. We'll work on some different things to where we can incorporate Mark a little bit, whether it's on the show page or maybe have him on the show here, because we have ways to do things now. A ton of different ways. Oh, yeah. So guys, if you've been following any other shows here on H2D Radio, next week on April 18th so it's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern. I believe it is. Frank, if I'm wrong, let me know. But I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. The H2D mock draft is going to be happening. And so the way it works is all your favorite H2D personalities have been given a division. NFC East, AFC South, AFC East. They've been broken up between different H2D personalities. and those personalities will be picking for the teams in those divisions. We have I believe that is correct. Thank you, Frank. So they'll be making picks, trades, different things like that. We're going to break everything down as we get ready for the draft not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. So we might be on Friday night. We might not be on next week. We're going to work out a couple different details, figure out when we can go on. But that's going to be such a huge moment, whether you're an Eagles fan, a Texans fan, a Patriots fan, or a Saints fan. You need to check out next week and see where some of your favorite college athletes could end up in the APD mock draft. So yeah, tomorrow, what is it? Today's still Saturday. My work schedule has me all kinds of messed up. I don't know what day it is anymore. Don't forget, tomorrow you're going to have Agree to Disagree in the rundown. Sports Hounds on Friday. Birds of a Feather on... No, Sports Hounds on Monday. Birds of a Feather on Tuesday. The Fix and AM and the PM Wednesday. Lazy Booking and Hockey Happy Hour on Thursday. Hell, we might be on Friday. I don't know anymore. And the HUD mock draft next week. Guys, for Butters, we thank Chrome. I'm Ritz. We thank Frank for producing, hanging out there in the background, giving us all a hard time. We're going to see y'all next week. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're on Twitch now, and we're also on all your favorite podcast platforms. We want to thank Ambuck Services, Specialized Physical Therapy, QB54, all our sponsors this week, and enjoy the rest of the week. Stay happy, stay safe. We'll see y'all later.